in really close. Yeah. And what was your name, sorry?
Daphne.
Daphne. Can I get you just to hold this basket? And did you want to just pop one hand on the basket?
But you must be getting used to all this media attention. Have you ever had as much media attention before?
And I'll just get everyone smiling at me for this one.
Right.
Okay, beautiful. Here we go.
How did you get involved?
Well, because we lived so close and it was just a vacant block of land when we came here first, and I sort of saw it being built from the ground up.
Well, I finished work and something to do.
Yeah. But why Meals on Wheels in particular? You could have played golf.
Oh well. Well, I used to be in charge of the North Adelaide Golf League. I used to be the head greenkeeper there. And I'd seen enough golf.
But one thing there is that probably one of the advantages as you are dealing with volunteers is that their self-motivation sort of comes with the territory.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's our secret ingredient to the success of Meals on Wheels, is that volunteering ethos and spirit, that people are coming to Meals on Wheels because they want to be here and they see the benefit to the people in the community. And alongside of that, the teams that work in the kitchens love that sense of camaraderie and teamwork that they create together.
I think 50% of why they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many people work in this kitchen?
Our total volunteer force is somewhere around about 80.
Just in this kitchen alone?
Just in this kitchen alone.
That's to look after how many clients?
Well, at the moment, you see, we've got 54 delivery points today.
It was really good today. Yeah.
So how many years were you in the kitchen?
25.
25 years. And what sort of meals were you preparing there?
We had just, we had soup first, and then we had a main course, which was always 3 veg and a meat, and that course varied from, whatever it may have been, chops or sausages, but it was all differently served up. Then all in big aluminium cans, and the people that went out distributing had to do the serving up from these big aluminium containers. There's
a whole other group of volunteers who manage the distribution of the meals and monitoring the well-being of the clients. So most days there are 2 people who deliver to each client. They take them their meal, they usually take it in and put it on the table. Often they'll put it on a plate for them. And while they're doing that, they have a bit of a chat with the person, engage with them, find out how they're going, and they're just keeping a weather eye on them. If they notice that somebody's getting a little bit frailer or perhaps isn't well, then they'll let, each branch has a volunteer who is a client liaison person. We call them a welfare officer, and they'll often follow up with a person's family or their doctor if we're concerned. And on occasion, when a volunteer arrives, the person's in medical distress, and so they, the volunteers at that time know that it's their responsibility to call for assistance, and that's a real sense of peace of mind, both for the clients and for their families, that the volunteers are prepared to do that. And
because quite often they're the only regular visitor that
may well
people
be
have.
that may well be the case.
I guess it's nice to have someone come around every day too.
Yeah. Well, this is another thing. It's not just the meal. They come to see if you're all right.
Yeah.
They only had one here in recent weeks, round the corner.
And one day, I remember we went and bought a pasty.
You what, sorry?
I can remember that. We went and bought a pasty.
Yes.
We were 1 meal short.
Is that
Was
right?
that you and I together when we bought the pasty? Yeah. We went and bought a pasty because we were 1 meal short.
After a few years, I was welfare officer there, which meant, going out and seeing the people.
Yeah, that would have been rewarding.
Yeah. And then having to make the lists of the past, the people, and that was all interesting. And the friendship you made, that was the lovely part of meeting up all with these people.
You're talking about the clients as well as the people in the kitchen.
Yes, you get to know them, going to see them.
I had a woman interviewer come in and said, "Why did I want the meals?" I said, "I'm only a boy, I'm only 90 or 80, whatever it was." well, at the moment I'm 93, but
Yes.
I've been around about 83, 10 years ago.
Yes.
And I said I'm living on my own, and I'd benefit by getting well-controlled mills. That was one of the things I was always keen about, is you didn't neglect yourself for this. And this is why I've got Meals on Wheels, and I still get it.
Has the menu ever changed very much, the type of food?
Oh, it's very similar. You still get your three-course meal 5 days a week. Since I've left, we get a great variety every week, and it's not the same. Like Monday is a certain day, and you get that every Monday. You don't.
That's right. Yes, there's probably two things I think that have driven the menu changes. One has been people's palates have changed, and people are used to having a wide variety of meals, and so we certainly include things that you'd find in any sort of cafe, like stir fries and lasagnas, and range of different meals in that regard. And the other thing I think that's made a shift in our menu, at least in South Australia, has been a focus on nutrition, to make sure that it's not just sending out a meal that'll stick to your ribs and keep people full. We want to make sure that it's low in sugar, low in saturated fat, low in salt, all of those things that the dietitians tell us all about healthy eating. We aim to make sure that our meals include about a third of an older person's daily nutrients, and for some people that means the serving size is a little bit large, and for other people they find that the serving size is a little bit smaller than they'd like. But on the whole, we try and make sure that not just their protein and energy count, but also things like calcium and other micronutrients are also present in the meals. And so that does create some challenges to us, and also some limitations in what it is that we can be serving.
And now, of course, it's all delivered to you hot, served up in containers with your soup and your sweet. Now sweets are served in a little plastic container, which is really, really lovely.
Some of their sweets, they what I would think is, I'd say was like a boiled pudding or boiled cake. No, yeah, more like pudding, and with like a bit of a crust on it, like like a baked. It's baked, and yesterday, for instance, I had it, and with diced fruit on it as well. Very nice.
Very nice, yes.
They can do that every day.
But we have to get that back to them.
Some ladies do the main course, then other ladies do the sweets.
What was your job?
Sweets.
Sweets?
Yeah.
And you did sweets for 20 years?
Most of the time, yes.
Most of
the time I was there, yes. Yeah.
You never got sick of sweets?
No.
It's impossible to get sick of sweets. There you go.
So on the administrative side of things, how much ordering and whatnot is done from here?
Everything for the kitchen is done from here.
Each branch has a voluntary management committee. We call them a branch committee, and there are particular roles and functions that the branches are responsible for, and they're sort of distributed out. So there'll be one volunteer who's ultimately responsible for inducting and training new volunteers to the branch and managing rosters, for example. Another person will make sure that the delivery route sheets are printed each week, and that information's sent here centrally, so that we can keep track of the number of meals that have been supplied to people, because we have a small amount of government funding, and one of the things that we need to do is report to government on the number of meals that we're supplying to folks. Yeah.
And I was going to say that's one of the interesting things about Meals on Wheels, is that you do have a small amount of government funding, but primarily it's self-funding.
It is, and interestingly for a community service like ours, we're sort of the reverse of many community support services, because the clients themselves pay for about 80% of the real cost of producing the meal, and government and donations and fundraising helps with the remainder. And in my experience of working in other community services, it's usually the other way around. Government puts in at least 80 or 90% and the consumer puts in the rest. what that allows for Meals on Wheels is we're a little bit like a magic pudding. We don't have waiting lists, and we don't have a set number of meals that we're able to produce, or we're certainly nowhere near reaching that capacity. So we're able to respond very quickly when a person has a need.
How do you know what you need?
Well,
and how far ahead do you have to order?
yeah. Prior to the Meals for You, we were ordering for the next week. But now, because the Meals for You menus are coming out a fortnight in advance, we're having to think a fortnight in advance.
What we've started in the last 12 months is just piloting how feasible it was to be able to offer clients a choice of main course without it creating an onerous burden for our volunteers. So we needed to meet those two objectives. And we know that increasingly our clients want and expect choice, and so we wanted to be able to meet that need, but we needed to find ways of doing it that weren't going to have 9,000 volunteers walk out throwing their hands up in the air. I was fairly confident that it was going to work because interstate there have been Meals on Wheels services who've been offering choice for a little while. And we've got so the way that we went about that was actually to engage the volunteers themselves in what do you think are the barriers, what do you think is going to cause some concerns for you, and what are some ways that we can actually set this up so that those concerns that you have are overcome. And so we've worked really closely with them, and now we've got 7 of our 40 kitchens that are offering a choice in their menu and through a number of different models. So generally the way that it works is a kitchen will have a menu. Most seasons they'll change them. So about 4 times a year they'll change them, and during that season the menu will rotate every 4 weeks, so people won't get the same food, you know, until at least 4 weeks later, depending on the day of the week. What we're doing with the choice menu is extending that so that over the 4-week cycle, on any given day, there will be 2 choices of main course, and this has been a fantastic success.
Oh, it takes a bit longer now, yeah.
But you're happy with that?
Oh, well, I'm happy with it, yeah.
Because the clients are happy?
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Would you like to have a choice?
Pardon?
Would you like to have a choice?
Oh, I think I would, yeah.
Yeah. What would you choose?
Oh, corned beef, it's all right.
Yeah.
One thing I won't say I don't like, but I'm not used to, because they put on beef, pork, pork sweet and sour. Now, all my life, my mother's feeding us and all that, we didn't eat pork because pork was the expensive meat. Pork is much cheaper nowadays, so they put in pork. So I'm not used to pork, and I take pork under sufferance.
There's people who don't like pumpkin or can't eat peas, or have other dietary likes and dislikes, and at least now they can look at a menu in advance and say, oh, I'm going to pick the one that hasn't got the pumpkin or it hasn't got the peas, and that simplifies things for the volunteers at the kitchen too. And
prior to the 4 You choices, you knew you're going to have 50 meals every day. But because of the choices, one day we might be cooking for 30 and the next day we might be cooking for 50.
So it's made your life more interesting?
More interesting, because at the moment the second choice meals come direct from our cook to your kitchen. We don't have to cook them, all we have to do is warm them up, but we have to order for the rest. I think in the end, I think what'll happen, we'll be cooking both meals. It has dropped. I mean, when I first started, we were doing over 100. It seems to be that the people that require it now are those that were born during the Depression. And because of the Depression, there's a lot less people born. So
But certainly the baby boomers, I guess, will start coming on stream in the next 10 years, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
And then there'll be a greater need.
Yeah.
We get really good feedback from the people that use our service. We're actually in the process of finding out more information about people who haven't used our services, who are potential users, and what they think about Meals on Wheels. I think a stumbling block for a lot of people is they think, oh, once I accept having Meals on Wheels delivered, that must mean that I've thrown in the towel. And you know, it's going to be a pretty slippery slide now into dependency and, you know, ultimately into some form of supported care. And so we're really interested in how we can work with the community to try and change that around, because our point
It's really the opposite.
Exactly, our point of view is get onto Meals on Wheels. It's not a charity. You're paying for a service just like you might pay someone to mow your lawn. And what it's doing is making sure that at least once a day you're getting good tucker into you, and it's going to help you stay healthy, it's going to help you stay independent, and
You're going to stay home.
Yep, and you're going to get a bit of company with it. You know, pretty good service, really.
And you're all nice people, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Favourite sweet?
My favourite sweet would have to be bread and butter pudding with some cream on the top.
You would have made a few of those in your
Oh, yes. Certainly did.
That's wonderful. On that note, we'll say thank you very much, Mrs.
Oh, that's
Donaldson.
quite right.
Now, if you could just open it up and have a look.
Yeah.
Yeah. And give me a grin. Just up here at the camera.
Oh, that looks very nice, doesn't it? I think I could well and truly eat that right now.
Platform 1, reverse push 1, train departing platform 1, single platform 1.